Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time you're watching this, as always, thanks for watching Common Sense Talks. I've got a quick little live stream I wanted to bring to you guys before I forget this story. I just seen something. It brought to my memory something that I've seen on other news articles. I want to bring the receipts and I want to bring a discussion forward. So I'm going to talk really quickly a little bit about some very complicated things. I'm going to try to tie it all in together. Do some research, look it up. So, do I believe in climate change? Yes, I believe the earth changes. I believe that we kind of affected a little bit, but I believe we don't know what we're talking about as much as we think. I believe from what I've seen with Mount St. Helens, Krakatoa, one of them emitted more carbon, I believe, than humans have emitted since our entire existence on Earth, and the Earth cleaned all that up. I'm not saying we should be dirty. I'm not saying that we should destroy the environment. I think that there's always more information and more to the story than we're being told. There's two sides to every coin. I did a green energy video. Lithium is very bad. The copper, the batteries, all the stuff to try to go off grid or to renewable windmills, solar panels. There's so much negative associated with them as well. Obviously, there's negative associated with coal, natural gas, all that stuff. Nuclear is the only way to go. Look up thorium salt reactors instead of plutonium, uranium. So anyways, with that being said, what's going on in California? If you see the title of the video, then you probably click this because I'm kind of insinuating that maybe, especially the last 10, 20 years, that people who are nut jobs that believe the end of the world is coming, like AOC and all these others have spouted that we have 10, 12 years, and if not, everything's going to be underwater. They've been saying this since the 1970s, that if we didn't do all these drastic changes, that the world was going to be underwater. And hence, you ever seen the movie Waterworld, right? So this is not something new. They've been pushing this on us for years. And if you are fully invested and bought into that idea, think about it. And you have millions of brainwashed people that are just 100% bought in, believe that it's worth wrecking the economy, jobs, careers, and everything. And that we instantly need to go green, and they have no idea about the science, the carbon footprint of creating all the stuff to go green, the photovoltaic cells, the lithium batteries, all the copper, all the different stuff that they're going to need, all the windmill stuff, the solar panels, killing birds, just all this different factors involved. It's not as green as they think, right? And it's not going to also power the big cities or the mega production centers. We need more juice for that. So now, if you got these people that are fully invested, they think the world's going to end and they don't see any action around them, what's to say they're not going to go ahead and do some action? So we're going to go back to that in a second, but I want to talk about some other things. California wildfires have been out of control recently, but we used to clear out underbrush. We used to have controlled burns. You get areas like Santa Cruz, Monterey, where like the hippies, the tree huggers will literally not let you remove dead trees, dead brush, because it's the environment and it's got beetles and things in there and you can't disturb them. Seriously. And the logging industry since the 80s and 90s has drastically been cut, because what they'd do is they'd clear cut, or not clear cut, but they would cut down areas of the forest that were just real thick, lots of dead stuff in it. They could clean that out like a fire break, right? And clean out all these trees, and then they replant fresh trees and then move on to different areas so that they're not destroying the environment or harming the environment. And that stopped. So you have no underbrush clearage, you have no real fire preparation stuff like we used to do, and no logging. Factor that with, we're going to go back over here, farmers, in my opinion, I remember learning about the ecosystem, the environment, how water evaporates, goes into the sky, recondenses as clouds, then becomes rain, and the whole cycle over and over again with all the seasons and all the different winds and stuff coming from different areas of the planet, and the jet stream and cold air from Alaska, warm air from the south, all this different stuff, right? Now, Farmers back in the days used to flood water. The way that they would water their trees, their corn, their cotton, their tomatoes, is they would literally flood the orchard and they let it sink into the ground. And then a week later, they'd flood it again, let it sink into the ground. Now, I think this drastically changes when they've changed from that. So for one, we used to have a lot of groundwater. The farmers, the wells wouldn't be dry. You wouldn't have to tap 500, 1,000 feet deep. You can go 50 feet deep and hit water because of the way we used to do our practices. Before McClure, before Don Pedro, before all these lakes were created and dammed up, the Central Valley used to flood in the early 1900s, right? So in the last 100 years, we've cut off the water supply to the Central Valley and made the groundwater dry up. There used to be lots of fog here. Last 20 years hasn't been any fog. I think that has a lot to do with the ground table. Now, that may play into, I'm no scientist, but that may play into also why we maybe don't get as much rain. Lots of different things factored into how the ecosystem works. And we came in here and we switched it, we changed it all up. Now, again, do I believe in climate change? Of course, there's stuff going on. Now, back to what I said. So if you're a crazy person, you believe the world's going to end in 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, that carbon's killing us all, the farting cows, world's going to be underwater. And, I post you, then why did the Obamas buy like a $14 million mansion right on the ocean? It's all utter BS. Now, back to the California wildfires. There's a story of a California woman. She is charged with arson and spreading the fawn fire. So she basically burnt down a section of the forest. Now, the person that's responsible for this supposedly is Alexandra Soverneva, and she's from Palo Alto. What was someone in the Bay Area doing up in the northern mountain range starting fires? And why do they always seem to be from the Bay Area? When you get someone caught starting a fire, they always seem to be from the Bay Area a lot of the time. I think the people, and let's do this here. If you Google search how many California wildfires were arson, one of the first things that'll pop up is arson blamed for 1 in 5 California wildfires since 2007. So we have 10, 15, 100 fires every year for the past 13 years. That's thousands of fires potentially started, or at least hundreds of fires potentially started by arson, meaning purposely the forest was lit on fire. And I'm sorry, but no Trump supporter, no right-winger, no fisherman, hunter, no farmer is going to go and intentionally set the forest on fire. That's a ludicrous thing, in my opinion. And I've seen stories, and a lot of the people, when they get caught starting these forest fires, I've seen a few of them from Palo Alto and a few of them from like San Leandro and other areas. The Bay Area, these people are going and they're starting forest fires. Can we not start to connect the dots? When you have a blank piece of paper and you have a few dots, I get it. You're turning into Alex Jones when you're making this whole picture up and you don't have enough dots. But when you start getting enough of them and it's clearly a photograph of a car, well, let's call it a car. You don't need to actually see the physical car. I mean, you have enough dots to connect them now, right? So it's like, how many fires are started by arson? Why? Why do the people who get caught for these arsons, why do they usually come from the Bay Area? Are Democrats / left-wingers starting fires to further the climate change agenda? I don't know. How do you feel? Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. So thanks for watching. I just had to get this video off my chest. Next format, I'm going to take you with me so I can actually show you the stories, show you the people, and maybe I've got a lot of stuff going on today, but I'll also research and find all the times people were caught starting arsons in California, and we'll see where they come from, and we'll see if we can look up their political leanings. That might even give us some more insight. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.